Welcome. I am Adam, and today we are going to travel the world together in English. If airports, taxis, and hotel conversations make you nervous, this lesson will change that. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to sound calm and confident in real travel situations. Stay with me, because this is not just English practice, this is real-world confidence. Part 1. Before you travel. Close your eyes for a second and imagine this. You are standing in a bright, busy airport. You hear announcements. People are moving fast. Someone at the counter smiles and says something in English, and suddenly your mind feels empty. You studied, you practiced, you watched videos, but in that moment, nothing comes out. If that sounds familiar, I want you to take a deep breath right now. That feeling is normal. So many learners understand English beautifully when they listen, yet when it is time to speak, they freeze. Travel is exciting, but it can also feel overwhelming, especially in a new country where English is everywhere. And here is something important. Even advanced speakers feel nervous when they travel. Confidence is not about being perfect, it is about being prepared and staying calm. Let us warm up emotionally before we warm up linguistically. When you travel, you are already doing something brave. You are stepping into a new environment. Your brain is processing signs, sounds, directions, and social cues. That is a lot. So if your English feels slower at first, that is not because you are bad at English, it is because your brain is multitasking. Give yourself permission to speak simply. Short sentences are powerful. Clear sentences are powerful. You do not need long grammar structures to communicate at the airport. You need clarity, calm, and confidence. Now let us build that confidence with essential travel vocabulary. We are going to go slowly first, and then we will say everything in natural American rhythm. The first word is passport. Listen carefully. Passport. The stress is on the first syllable. Passport. That first part is stronger and a little longer. The second syllable is softer. Passport. In natural speech, Americans connect it smoothly. Passport. Example sentence. Here is my passport. Slow version. Here is my passport. Natural version. Here's my passport. Notice how here is becomes here's. That reduction is very common. Next is boarding pass. Boarding pass. The stress is on board and pass. Boarding pass. The in is softer. Boarding pass. Example. Where is my boarding pass? Slow. Where is my boarding pass? Natural. Where's my boarding pass? Again, where is becomes where's. Feel that rhythm. Luggage and baggage. These two words mean almost the same thing. Luggage. The stress is on the first syllable. Gauge. Baggage. Baggage. Bag. Gauge. Both have that soft second syllable. Example. I have 2 pieces of luggage. Slow. I have 2 pieces of luggage. Natural. I've got 2 pieces of luggage. Notice how I have becomes I've got in natural American English. Carry on. Carry on. The stress is on the first word. Carry on. This means the small bag you bring on the plane. Example. This is my carry-on bag. Slow. This is my carry-on bag. Natural. This is my carry-on. Check in, check in. Stress on check. Ek in. This can be a noun or a verb. Example. Where is the check-in counter? Slow. Where is the check-in counter? Natural. Where's the check-in counter? Gait. Simple word, but important. Gait. One strong beat. Example. My gate is number 12. Natural. My gate's number 12. Hear that contraction again. Departure and arrival. Departure. Stress on the second syllable. Departure. Arrival. Arrival. Stress on the second syllable again. Example. What time is departure? Natural. What time's departure? And when is arrival? Natural, when's arrival? Reservation, reservation. The stress falls on the third syllable. Reservation. That va sound is strong. Example, I have a reservation. Natural, I have a reservation. Now let us put this into a real introduction script because vocabulary alone is not enough. You need sentences that feel ready in your mouth. Imagine you walk to the counter. You smile gently. The agent looks at you. You say, "Hi, my name is Arjun. I'm traveling to New York. This is my first time here. Could you please help me?" That is enough. It is clear. It is polite. It is confident. Let us practice slowly. Hi, my name is. Pause and say your name. I'm traveling to. Say your destination. This is my first time here. Could you please help me? Good. Now let us say it naturally. Hi, my name's. I'm traveling to. This is my first time here. Could you please help me? Notice how my name is becomes my name's. This is becomes this in fast speech, though sometimes we keep it clearer as this is. Both are fine. Repeat after me one more time and feel the rhythm. Hi, my name's Maria. I'm traveling to Chicago. This is my first time here. Could you please help me? When you speak with that gentle rhythm, people understand you more easily, and you sound more natural without trying too hard. Now let us talk about a powerful confidence technique. Speak in short sentences. Instead of saying a long, complicated explanation, say, I need help, I don't understand. Could you repeat that? These are strong sentences. They are simple, but they work. Smile and slow down. When you slow down, your pronunciation becomes clearer. Your brain has more time to think. And here is something very important. It is completely okay to say, sorry, could you repeat that? Americans say this all the time. Native speakers ask each other to repeat things. It is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of good communication. If you are traveling from India, Europe, or anywhere else to the United States or another English-speaking country, remember that airport staff are used to international travelers. They expect different accents, they expect questions. You do not need perfect pronunciation. You need understandable pronunciation. Focus on stress, focus on rhythm, and focus on staying calm. Before we finish this part, I want you to imagine the airport again. This time, instead of fear, you feel prepared. You know the key words. You have your introduction ready. You know how to ask for help. And most importantly, you know that simple English is powerful English. In the next part, we will step right up to the check-in counter and practice real conversations together, slowly and naturally, so that when your real travel day comes, your English will not freeze. It will flow. Part 2. At the airport. Picture this moment. You are standing in line at the airport, holding your passport, feeling that little wave of nervous energy in your stomach. The line moves forward, and suddenly it is your turn. You step up to the counter. The agent smiles and says, "Good morning. May I see your passport?" This is the moment when many learners panic. But today, that is not going to be you. Today, you are prepared. Today, you know exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to stay calm while you say it. Let us start with that very first exchange. Agent says, "Good morning. May I see your passport?" Listen to the rhythm of that question. May I see your passport? In American English, we often reduce words and connect them smoothly. May I becomes may I. It almost sounds like one word. May I see your passport? The word your reduces to yer. May I see yer passport? You do not have to say it extremely fast, but understanding this rhythm will help you recognize it when you hear it. Your answer is simple and confident. Sure, here you go. Now let us break that down. Here you go. In natural American speech, this often sounds like here ya go. The word you reduces to ya. Here ya go. Try it slowly first. here you go. Now naturally, here ya go. That reduction makes your speech sound more natural, but clarity is more important than speed. If you say it clearly and calmly, you are doing great. Now imagine the conversation continues. The agent may ask, "Do you have any bags to check?" Notice the linking here. "Do you often" sounds like "duh you" or even "ja." "Do you have any bags to check?" In fast speech, it might sound like "duh you have any bags to check?" To check becomes check. That little reduction is very common. Your answer can be very simple. "Yes, I have one bag." Or, "No, I only have a carry-on." Short sentences are strong sentences. If you have more information, you can say, "Yes, I have one suitcase to check and one carry-on bag." That is clear and complete. Another common question is, "Did you pack your bags yourself?" This is a security question, and it is very important. Listen to the rhythm. "Did you often" becomes "did you." "Did you pack your bags yourself?" Yourself may sound like self, with stress on self. Your answer should be direct. "Yes, I packed them myself." Or, "No, someone helped me pack." Keep it honest and simple. If you do not understand, you can say, "Sorry, could you repeat that please?" That is completely acceptable. Now let us talk about seat preferences. The agent might ask, "Would you like a window or aisle seat?" Listen to how "would you" sounds in American English. It often becomes "woulda." Woulda like a window or aisle seat. The word aisle is pronounced like aisle in a store. It sounds like aisle, one syllable. Aisle. Window seat means you sit next to the window. Aisle seat means you sit next to the walkway. You can answer, "I would like a window seat, please," or "I prefer an aisle seat." If you want to be flexible, you can say, "Either one is fine." That shows confidence and ease. Now let us practice a full natural mini conversation. Agent says, "Good afternoon. May I see your passport?" You say, "Sure, here you go." Agent says, "Do you have any bags to check?" You say, "Yes, I have one suitcase." Agent says, "Did you pack your bags yourself?" You answer, "Yes, I did." Agent says, "Would you like a window or aisle seat?" You reply, "A window seat, please." That is a complete check-in conversation and you can absolutely handle it. Sometimes, though, there are small problems. Maybe the agent says, "Your bag is overweight." The stress falls on overweight. This means your bag is heavier than allowed. Do not panic. You can ask, "How much is the fee?" Notice the pronunciation. How much is the fee? Much is links together. How much is the fee? The agent will explain the extra cost and you can decide what to do. You can also ask, "Can I remove some items?" That shows you are trying to solve the problem. Another situation is delay. The agent might say, "The flight is delayed." Delayed has stress on the second syllable. Delayed. You can respond calmly. "What time will it depart?" Notice how "will it" often links. Will it? What time will it depart? You can also ask, "How long is the delay?" These are simple, direct questions that help you understand the situation. Now let us talk about politeness and tone, because this is very important in American and European airports. Words matter, but tone matters just as much. If you say, "passport" in a flat or demanding tone, it can sound rude. But if you say, "Here's my passport" with a gentle falling tone, it sounds friendly and cooperative. In American English, yes or no answers usually have a falling intonation when you are confident. Yes, I did. No, I don't. But when you ask a question, your voice often rises at the end. How much is the fee? What time will it depart? That rising tone signals a question. Smiling also changes your tone. Even on the phone, people can hear a smile. When you speak with a relaxed face and steady breathing, your voice sounds warmer. Airport staff in the United States and Europe are trained to be professional, and they appreciate clear, polite communication. You do not need complicated grammar. You need a calm tone and respectful language. Adding please at the end of a request, such as a window seat please, makes a big difference. If you are a first-time international traveler, remember this. The check-in counter is not a test. It is a conversation. The agent wants to help you get on your flight smoothly. You are working together. When you understand reductions like may I see your passport and would you like a window seat, your listening improves. When you practice clear answers like yes, I packed it myself and I have one bag to check, your speaking becomes stronger. And when you keep your tone polite and steady, you sound confident, even if you feel a little nervous inside. In the next part, we will move from the check-in counter to the security area, where English can sound faster and more direct. You will learn how to understand instructions quickly and respond without stress. Stay with me, because each step of this journey is building your real travel confidence, and you are already doing better than you think. Part 3. Security check. Everything suddenly feels faster at security. The voices are louder, the instructions are shorter, and people are moving quickly around you. This is the place where many English learners feel the most pressure, because the officers do not usually speak in long, gentle sentences. They use short commands. They speak clearly but quickly. And if you are not prepared, it can feel overwhelming. But here is the good news. Security English is actually simple English. It is direct. It uses basic verbs. And once you understand the patterns, you will realize that it is not complicated at all. Let us begin with understanding fast English. One of the most common instructions you will hear is, please remove your shoes. Listen carefully to the rhythm. Please remove your shoes. The word remove has stress on the second syllable. Remove. In natural American speech, your often reduces to yer. Please remove yer shoes. When spoken quickly, it might sound like, please remove yer shoes. But even when it is fast, the stress on move helps your ears catch the meaning. Now let us say it slowly together. Please remove your shoes. Good. Now let us say it naturally. Please remove your shoes. Feel how the words connect. Another very common instruction is, take out your laptop. This one is short and direct. Take out your laptop. In fast speech, take out often links and sounds like ta-kout. Take out your laptop. The word your again reduces to yer. Slow version, take out your laptop. Natural version, take out your laptop. Notice how the T at the end of take connects to out. That linking is very common in American English, and when you recognize it, listening becomes much easier. You may also hear, step through the scanner. Step through the scanner. The word through can reduce slightly and sound softer. Step through the scanner. In quick speech, through the might blend together. Through the. Slow version, step through the scanner. Natural version, step through the scanner. These are imperative sentences. That means they are commands or instructions. They do not have a subject like you at the beginning. The officer does not say, you step through the scanner. They simply say, step through the scanner. That structure is normal and not rude. It is just efficient. Understanding that these are imperatives will help you stay calm. When you hear, remove your shoes, or place your bag on the belt, do not look for extra grammar. Just listen for the main verb. Remove, take out, step through, place, hold, wait. These verbs carry the meaning. If you catch the verb, you catch the instruction. Now let us talk about what to do if you do not understand something. This is very important because pretending to understand can create more stress. If you are unsure, you can politely ask, sorry, what should I remove? Listen to the intonation. Sorry has a gentle falling tone. Sorry, what should I remove? Rises at the end because it is a question. In natural American speech, What should I can sound like, what should I? What should I remove? You do not need to say it fast. You can say it clearly and slowly. Sorry, what should I remove? That is polite and respectful. Another helpful question is, do I need to take off my jacket? Take off often links and sounds like take off. Do I need to take off my jacket? This question shows that you want to follow instructions. Officers appreciate that. It makes the interaction smoother. Remember, you are allowed to ask for clarification. It does not make you look weak, it makes you responsible. Let us also quickly look at some vocabulary differences, because many international airports use both American and British English. In the United States, people say elevator. In the United Kingdom, they say lift. If you are in London and someone says, take the lift to level 2, that means elevator. In American airports, you stand in line. In British airports, you stand in a queue. Queue is spelled Q-U-E-U-E, and it sounds like Q, one syllable. Even though the spelling looks long, the pronunciation is simple. Knowing these differences helps you feel less confused when you travel in different English-speaking regions. Now let us do a small confidence drill together. I want you to imagine you are standing at security. I will say the instructions slowly and then naturally. You will repeat after me. Please remove your shoes. Good. Now naturally. Please remove your shoes. Excellent. Take out your laptop. Now naturally. Take out your laptop. Step through the scanner. Now naturally. Step through the scanner. Great. Now you respond. Officer says, please place your bag on the belt. You say, okay. Officer says something quickly and you are not sure. You say, sorry, could you repeat that please? Notice that repeat that please has a gentle, polite tone, not demanding, calm and steady. The most important thing at security is your energy. If you move slowly but confidently, listen carefully, and respond with short, clear answers like, okay, yes, or sorry, what should I do? You will do just fine. Remember that officers speak to hundreds of travelers every day. They expect different accents, they expect questions. Your job is not to impress them with perfect grammar. Your job is to understand the verb, follow the instruction, and communicate clearly if you need help. In the next part, we will move to boarding the plane, where the language becomes softer again and you may even make small talk with other passengers. But right now, take a moment and notice something important. You can understand fast English when you focus on stress and verbs. You can ask for clarification politely, and you can move through security calmly because you are prepared. Part 4. Boarding the plane. The sound at the gate is different from security. It is softer, but it is constant. You hear rolling suitcases, quiet conversations, and then suddenly an announcement comes over the speaker. If you are not ready, it can sound fast and unclear, and you might wonder, did they just call my group? This is the moment when listening skills and calm confidence come together. Boarding language is actually very structured, and once you understand the patterns and rhythm, you will recognize it quickly. A very common announcement is, we are now boarding group 3. Listen to the stress. We are now boarding group 3. The important words are now, boarding, group, and the number. In natural American speech, we are often reduces to we're. We are now boarding group 3. Boarding has stress on board. Boarding. The ing is softer. Group 3 is clear and strong. If the announcement is faster, it might sound like, we are now boarding group 3. Notice how now and boarding connect slightly. Now boarding. Do not worry if you miss small words like are. Focus on the stressed words. Now, boarding, group 3. That is enough to understand. Another announcement you might hear is, the flight is ready for departure. In natural speech, flight is ready often links and sounds like, flight is ready. The flight's ready for departure. The word departure has stress on the second syllable. Departure. The R sound in American English is strong. Departure. If you listen for that stressed par sound, your ears will catch it even in a noisy airport. Slow version. The flight is ready for departure. Natural version. The flight's ready for departure. Feel how is becomes ease. That contraction is extremely common. Sometimes they say, we will begin boarding shortly. Begin has stress on gin. Gin. Shortly means soon. Or they might say, please have your boarding passes ready. Boarding passes. Notice the S at the end of passes. It has that ease sound. Passes. In fast speech, have your often reduces to have your. Please have your boarding passes ready. If you recognize reductions like have your, listening becomes much easier. Now let us move from listening to speaking, because once you board the plane, you will interact with flight attendants. These conversations are usually short, polite, and friendly. One of the most useful sentences is, could I have some water? Let us break that down. Could I have sounds like could I have. The D connects smoothly to I. Could I have some water? Water in American English often has a soft T sound. It sounds like wa dare. Could I have some wa dare? Slow version. Could I have some water? Natural version. Could I have some wa dare? Notice how gentle and polite that sounds. Another common request is, may I use the restroom? May I use often links and sounds like, may I use? Restroom has stress on rest. Rest, room. In American English, restroom is more common than toilet in public places. Slow version. May I use the restroom? Natural version. May I use the restroom? Modal verbs like could and may make your request softer and more respectful. Instead of saying, give me water, which sounds too direct, you say, could I have some water? That small change makes a big difference in tone. You might also say, excuse me, could you help me with my bag? Excuse me has stress on Q's. Excuse me. In natural speech, it sounds like, excuse me. Could you often becomes, could you? Could you help me with my bag? That linking is very common in American English. If you practice it slowly and then naturally, your speech will feel smoother and more connected. Now let us talk about small talk, because sometimes you sit down, buckle your seatbelt, and the person next to you smiles. They might say, where are you traveling? Notice that traveling has stress on trav. Traveling. In natural speech, where are you often sounds like where you. Where are you traveling? Your answer can be simple. I'm traveling to Boston. Or I'm going to Paris for vacation. Short, friendly, and clear. Another question might be, is this your first time? In fast speech, is this can sound like is this or even is this. Is this your first time? The stress falls on first. First time. You can answer, yes it is, or no, I've been there before. Notice I have been becomes I've been. That contraction sounds natural and relaxed. Small talk on a plane does not need to be long. You can add something simple like, I'm a little nervous about flying, or I'm excited to visit. These sentences invite friendly conversation, but they are not complicated. The key is tone. In American English, friendliness often comes from light rising intonation in casual questions and warm falling intonation in statements. If you say, I'm traveling to Chicago, with a calm falling tone, it sounds confident. If you ask, is this your first time, with a slight rise at the end, it sounds open and friendly. Let us practice a short boarding moment together. Announcement says, we're now boarding Group 4. You stand up, walk calmly, and hand your boarding pass to the agent. They say, thank you. You respond, thank you. Simple. You walk onto the plane. You find your seat. You say to the flight attendant, could I have some water, please? Later, your seat partner smiles and asks, where are you traveling? You answer, I'm going to San Francisco for work. How about you? That small follow-up question keeps the conversation balanced and polite. Remember something important. Politeness in American and European settings often comes from word choice and tone, not from complicated grammar. Adding please, using could or may, smiling gently, keeping your voice calm. These small details make you sound natural and respectful. You do not need perfect pronunciation, but practicing stress and linking will help people understand you more easily. Boarding the plane is an exciting step. You made it through check-in. You made it through security. Now you are walking toward your destination. In the next part, we will land and go through immigration, where you will answer simple questions confidently and clearly. Stay with me, because each part is building your real-world English, and you are becoming the kind of traveler who speaks calmly, politely, and naturally wherever you go. Part 5. Arrival. The airplane door opens, and a new country is right in front of you. You walk through a long hallway with signs that say arrivals and immigration. This is the moment that many travelers worry about the most. Your heart may beat a little faster, and you might think, what if I don't understand the officer? What if I say something wrong? Let me reassure you right now. Immigration interviews are short. The questions are direct. The officers are trained to speak clearly. And if you prepare simple answers, you will move through this process calmly and confidently. When you step up to the immigration counter, the officer may greet you briefly and then begin with a question like, "What is the purpose of your visit?" Listen to the stress. What is the PR pose of your VI sit? The most important words are purpose and visit. In natural American speech, what is often becomes what's. What's the purpose of your visit? Purpose has stress on the first syllable. PUR pose. Visit has stress on the first syllable as well. VI sit. If the officer speaks quickly, you might hear, "What's the purpose of your visit?" Remember, your often reduces to your. Your answer should be short, simple, and clear. For tourism, or for vacation, or for business. You do not need a long explanation. If you want to add a little more detail, you can say, "I'm here for vacation," or "I'm here for business meetings." Keep your voice steady and your tone calm. A short, confident answer sounds stronger than a long, nervous one. Another very common question is, how long will you stay? Listen carefully to the rhythm. How long will you stay? In natural speech, will you often links and sounds like will ya? How long will ya stay? The stress falls on long and stay. Your answer can be, I will stay for 1 week, or I'm staying for 2 weeks. Notice the contraction I am becomes I'm. I'm staying for 10 days. Clear and direct. The officer may also ask, where will you be staying? In natural speech, where will often links and sounds like where'll. Where'll you be staying? The stress falls on staying. You can answer, I'll be staying at the Hilton Hotel, or I'm staying with my friend in Boston. If you have the address, you can show it on your phone or printed paper. You do not need perfect pronunciation of every word, just say it clearly and calmly. Now let us practice these 3 questions together, slowly first and then naturally. What is the purpose of your visit? Slow answer. I'm here for vacation. Now naturally. What's the purpose of your visit? I'm here for vacation. Good. How long will you stay? Slow answer. I will stay for 1 week. Natural version. How long will you stay? I'll stay for 1 week. Excellent. Where will you be staying? Slow answer. I will be staying at the Marriott Hotel. Natural version. Where'll you be staying? I'll be staying at the Marriott Hotel. Let us focus on pronunciation of three important travel words. Business. This word can be tricky because the spelling looks longer than the sound. Business is pronounced with two syllables. B-U-S-ness. The I in the middle is not strongly pronounced. B-U-S-ness. The stress is on the first syllable. I'm here for business. Say it slowly. Business. Now naturally. Business. Tourism. Tourism has stress on the first syllable. Tourism. The R sound is strong in American English. Tourism. I'm here for tourism. Slow. Tourism. Natural. Tourism. Make sure the first syllable is clear and strong. Vacation. Vacation has stress on the second syllable. Va-ca-ce. That ca sound is strong. Vacation. I'm here for vacation. Slow. Vacation. Natural. Vacation. Practicing stress patterns helps your speech sound more natural, even if your accent is different. Stress is often more important than perfect vowel sounds. After immigration, you will move to customs. This part is usually even shorter. An officer may ask, "Do you have anything to declare?" In natural speech, do you often sounds like do. Do you have anything to declare? Declare has stress on the second syllable. Declarator. Your answer is often very simple. No, I don't. Or, yes, I have some food items. If you are unsure, you can say, I'm not sure. I have some snacks. Honesty is important here. Speak clearly and calmly. Notice something important about all of these interactions. The grammar is simple. The sentences are short. The tone is calm and respectful. Immigration officers are not looking for advanced vocabulary, they are looking for clear answers. When you maintain eye contact, speak slowly, and answer directly, you show confidence. Even if you feel nervous inside, your calm voice will communicate stability. Let us do one final mini roleplay together. Officer says, "What's the purpose of your visit?" You answer, "I'm here for business." Officer asks, "How long will you stay?" You say, "I'll stay for 5 days." Officer asks, "Where will you be staying?" You reply, "I'll be staying at the Grand Hotel downtown." Officer at Customs says, "Do you have anything to declare?" You answer, "No, I don't." That is it. Short, clear, complete. You have now traveled from the airport entrance all the way through immigration and customs. Take a moment to recognize your progress. You understand the questions. You know how to respond. You know how to pronounce important travel words with correct stress and rhythm. In the next part, we will step outside the airport and find a taxi, where you will learn how to give directions, ask about prices, and speak confidently to the driver. Keep going, because every step is building real-world English that you can use anywhere. Part 6. At the taxi stand. Outside the airport doors, the air feels different. Maybe it is colder than you expected, or maybe it is warmer and brighter. You see a line of taxis waiting, drivers standing nearby, people loading suitcases into trunks. This is your first real conversation outside the airport building, and it can feel a little intimidating because now you are not speaking to airport staff. You are speaking to someone in the city. But here is something important to remember. Taxi English is simple English. It is practical. It is direct. And when you prepare a few key sentences, you will feel much more in control. Let us begin with the very first moment. You walk up to the taxi and open the door. You smile and say, "Hi, I need to go to this address." That sentence is clear and polite. Notice the rhythm. Hi, I need to go to this address. In natural American speech, need to often reduces to needa. I needa go to this address. The word to can sound like to. I needa go to this address. That reduction is common, but you do not need to force it. Clarity is more important than speed. If you say each word clearly, that is perfect. Sometimes it is helpful to show the address on your phone. You can say, "It's right here." Notice how it is becomes "it's." It's right here. Yeah. If the driver looks confused, you can say, "Could you please take me to this hotel?" Adding please makes your request warmer and more polite. Now let us talk about asking the price. You can say, "How much will it cost?" Listen to the linking. How much will it often sounds like, "How much ill it?" How much ill it cost? The word cost has a strong vowel sound in American English. Cost. Keep it clear. If you want to sound slightly softer, you can add please at the end. How much will it cost, please? In some cities, taxis use meters automatically, but in others, especially in certain countries, it is important to ask before the ride begins. Pronunciation of addresses is very important because numbers and street names can easily be misunderstood. If your hotel is at 245 Main Street, say it clearly and slowly. 245 Main Street. Notice how Americans often group numbers. We do not usually say 245 separately unless we need to. We say 245. If the address is 1208, you might say 1208. The zero becomes O, 1208. Practicing number pronunciation makes you sound much more confident. Hotel names also require clear stress. For example, Hilton Hotel. The stress is on Hill, Ilton. Marriott has stress on Mar, Marriott. When you say the name, stress the correct syllable. I'm going to the Hilton Hotel. I'm going to the Marriott downtown. Downtown has stress on down, downtown. Clear stress helps the driver understand you even if your accent is different. Let us also talk about common reductions you might hear from the driver. The driver may say, "Where you headed?" That means, "Where are you headed?" Headed means going. Where you headed? It can sound very fast. Or the driver might say, "It'll take about 20 minutes." It will becomes it'll. It'll take about 20 minutes. If you understand these reductions, you will feel calmer during the ride. Sometimes misunderstandings happen. Maybe the driver repeats the address incorrectly. You can gently correct them by saying, "Sorry, not Elm Street. Oak Street." Keep your tone calm. You are not arguing. You are clarifying. If you are unsure about the route, you can say, "Is this the fastest way?" Notice the rising intonation at the end because it is a question. Is this the fastest way? That rising tone makes it sound polite rather than critical. Safety and clarity are also important. In many American cities, taxis automatically use a meter, but if you are unsure, you can say, "Can you turn on the meter?" Let us break that down. Can you often becomes can you. Can you turn on the meter? Turn on links together slightly. Turn on. Meter has stress on me. Meter. Slow version. Can you turn on the meter? Natural version. Can you turn on the meter? That sentence is clear and confident. When you arrive at your destination, you can say, "Please drop me here." Drop me often links and sounds like drop me. Please drop me here. The word here is strong and clear. If you want to confirm, you can ask, "Is this the correct address?" That shows you are paying attention. Let us practice a short role play together. You open the taxi door. "Hi, I need to go to this address." The driver looks at it and says, "Okay, it'll take about 15 minutes." You ask, "How much will it cost?" The driver answers. During the ride, you notice something and ask, "Is this the fastest way?" When you arrive, you say, Please drop me here. Thank you. Those simple exchanges are enough to complete the entire ride successfully. Remember, your goal is not to speak perfect English with perfect grammar. Your goal is to communicate clearly and confidently. Use short sentences, stress important words. Slow down if you need to. And if something is unclear, ask politely. Taxi English is about practical communication. It is about getting from the airport to your hotel safely and smoothly. You have now handled the airport, security, boarding, immigration, and even transportation into the city. In the next part, we will step into the hotel lobby and practice checking in with the front desk, where tone and clarity become even more important. Stay with me, because each conversation builds your travel confidence, and you are becoming a traveler who can communicate anywhere. Part 7. Checking into the hotel. After the taxi ride, you step into the hotel lobby. It is quieter than the airport. Maybe there is soft music playing. Maybe people are sitting with laptops or coffee. This moment feels calmer, but you still need English. The front desk conversation is important because this is where you confirm your reservation, receive your room key, and ask any questions about your stay. The good news is that hotel English is predictable. The sentences repeat, the structure is simple, and when you know the patterns, you can speak with confidence. You walk up to the front desk, smile, and say, "Hi, I have a reservation under Sharma." Let us break that down. I have a reservation under in natural American speech. I have often becomes I've. I've a reservation under is sometimes reduced to I've a reservation under, but more commonly you will hear I have a reservation under. The word reservation has stress on the third syllable. Reservation. That va syllable is strong. Under is softer. Under. So you say, I have a reservation under Sharma. Clear, polite, complete. The receptionist might respond with, "Welcome. Could I see your ID?" Listen to that carefully. Could I see often sounds like, could I see? Could I see your ID? ID is pronounced as two letters. ID. Stress on both letters equally. You can respond, "Sure, here you go. We practiced that earlier." Here you go often sounds like, here you go. Simple, natural, friendly. Sometimes the receptionist may say, "May I have your credit card for incidentals?" That word incidentals can sound long and confusing, but it simply means extra charges, like room service. In natural speech, may I have often becomes may I have. May I have your credit card for incidentals? You do not need to understand every word perfectly. If you are unsure, you can ask, "Sorry, what is that for?" Notice the gentle rising intonation at the end because it is a question. Now let us talk about room questions, because once your check-in is complete, you may want more information. One very common question is breakfast included? Listen to the stress. Is break fast included? Breakfast has stress on break. Break fast. Included has stress on clud. Included. In natural speech, is breakfast often links and sounds like, is breakfast included? Your question can be clear and simple. Is breakfast included? If you want to sound slightly softer, you can add please at the end. Is breakfast included, please? Another important question is, what time is checkout? Notice that checkout can be two words, and the stress is on check. E-X-A-X, char. In American hotels, check-out time is often around 11 in the morning. In natural speech, what time is often reduces to What times? What times check out? But again, clarity first. Say it clearly. What time is check out? That is perfectly natural. You might also ask, is there free Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi has stress on both syllables. Wi-Fi. Or, where is the elevator? In American English, we say elevator, not lift. Elevator has stress on vator. If you are traveling in Europe, you may hear lift, but in the United States, elevator is the common word. Now let us imagine a small problem, because sometimes things are not perfect. You enter your room, turn on the air conditioner, and nothing happens. You call the front desk and say, "Hi, this is room 402. The air conditioner isn't working." Listen to that contraction. Is not becomes isn't. Isn't. The air conditioner isn't working. Working has stress on work. Working. Speak calmly. There is no need to sound angry. A calm tone makes staff more willing to help quickly. Another common issue is water. You might say, there's a problem with the shower. There is becomes there's. There's a problem with the shower. Problem has stress on problem. Shower in American English sounds like shower. Two syllables but smooth. If you want to add detail, you can say, the water is not hot, or the shower is leaking. Short, clear sentences are powerful. If the receptionist responds quickly, they might say, we'll send someone up right away. We will becomes we'll send someone up right away. Right away means immediately. If you do not understand, you can say, could you repeat that please? Always keep your tone polite and steady. Let us practice a full check-in moment together. You walk to the desk. Hi, I have a reservation under Patel. The receptionist says, welcome. Could I see your ID? You say, sure, here you go. They hand you a key card and say, breakfast is from 7 to 10. Check-out is at 11. You respond, thank you. Is breakfast included? They say yes. Later in your room, you call and say, hi, this is room 215. The air conditioner isn't working. They reply, we'll send someone up right away. You say, thank you so much. That entire experience is handled with simple, clear English. The key to hotel English is calm communication. The front desk staff are there to help you. They expect questions. They handle small problems every day. When you use polite modal verbs like could and may, when you add please and thank you, and when you speak with steady intonation, you sound respectful and confident. Take a moment to notice how far you have come. You checked in at the airport, you passed through security, you boarded the plane, you completed immigration, you took a taxi, and now you have successfully checked into your hotel. In the next part, we will practice making requests from your hotel room, including phone calls and service questions, so you feel completely comfortable during your stay. Stay with me, because each conversation is building real-life English that you can use anywhere in the world. Part 8. Inside the hotel. You are finally in your room. Your suitcase is open, your shoes are off, and for the first time all day, it feels quiet. Then you notice something. Maybe there are not enough towels, maybe you cannot find the Wi-Fi password, maybe the air feels too cold. This is the moment when you pick up the hotel phone. For many learners, speaking on the phone feels harder than speaking face-to-face, because you cannot see the other person's expression. But here is the important truth. Hotel phone conversations are short, structured, and predictable. Once you learn the pattern, you will feel calm and confident. Let us begin with the most common opening sentence. You pick up the phone and say, hi, this is room 304. Listen carefully to the rhythm. Hi, this is room 304. In natural American speech, this is often becomes this. Hi, this is room 304. You do not have to reduce it if it feels uncomfortable. Clarity is more important than speed, but you should know that native speakers often blend those words together. Now let us talk about pronouncing room numbers clearly. In American English, we usually say each number separately in room numbers. 304 becomes 304. The 0 is pronounced O, not 0. 215 becomes 215, or sometimes 215. Both are acceptable, but 215 is more natural in many contexts. If your room number is 1220, you might say 1220. Practicing number clarity is important because misunderstandings often happen with numbers. Speak slightly slower when saying numbers and stress each important part clearly. After you identify yourself, you make your request. One common sentence is, "Could you send extra towels?" Let us break that down. Could you often becomes could you in fast American speech. Could you send extra towels? Extra has stress on x, extra. Towels has stress on toe, towels. Slow version, could you send extra towels? Natural version, could you send extra towels? Notice that your tone should be polite and steady. You are not demanding, you are requesting. You might also say, could I get another pillow? Could I often becomes, could I? Could I get another pillow? Another often reduces to another. Pillow has stress on pile, pil, low. When you use could instead of can, the request sounds softer and more respectful. Both are correct, but could is slightly more polite in many hotel situations. Now let us talk about time expressions, because sometimes you will need to mention time. For example, you may say, could someone come at 6:30? 6:30 is clear and natural. If you say 6:0, you can say 6 o'clock. If it is 7:15, you say 7:15. In American English, we rarely say 15 past 7 in daily speech. We usually say 7:15. When you speak time clearly and slowly, the listener understands easily. Speaking on the phone requires slightly slower speech because there are no visual cues. Keep your sentences short. Pause between ideas. For example, hi, this is room 304. I have a small problem. Could you help me, please? Notice how each sentence is short and clear. That makes communication easier. Now let us move to polite complaint structure. Complaining does not mean being rude. In fact, the best complaints are calm and respectful. The structure is simple. First, state the problem. Second, ask for a solution. Third, thank the staff. For example, hi, this is room 512. The air conditioner isn't working. Could someone check it, please? Thank you so much. That is polite, clear, and effective. Let us look at pronunciation in that sentence. Isn't working. Isn't has that nt ending. Isn't working has stress on work. Working. Could someone check it often links and sounds like could someone check it. Check it becomes check it. That linking is natural in American English. Another example could be, hi, this is room 208. There's a problem with the shower. The water is cold. Could you send someone to fix it? Thank you. Notice the structure. State the problem clearly. The water is cold. Ask for a solution. Could you send someone to fix it? End with appreciation. Thank you. That appreciation changes the entire tone of the conversation. Sometimes the staff will respond with something like, we'll send someone up right away. We will becomes We'll. We'll send someone up right away. Right away means immediately. If you did not hear clearly, you can say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Always keep your voice calm. Even if you are tired after travel, calm speech helps solve problems faster. Let us practice a short phone conversation together. You dial reception. They answer, "Front desk, how may I help you?" You say, "Hi, this is room 304. Could you send extra towels, please?" They reply, "Of course, we'll send them up in a few minutes." You respond, "Thank you so much." That is a complete, natural exchange. Now imagine a small complaint. You call and say, "Hi, this is room 610. The Wi-Fi isn't working. Could you help me?" The staff might say, "Let me check that for you." "Let me" often sounds like "lemme." "Let me check that for you." If you understand these small reductions, listening becomes easier. Inside the hotel, your English does not need to be advanced. It needs to be clear, polite, and structured. Identify yourself. State the problem or request. Ask politely. Thank them. When you follow this pattern, you feel in control. You feel confident. And even on the phone, your voice will sound steady and natural. You have now handled conversations from the airport entrance all the way to your hotel room. In the next part, we will step outside again and explore the city, learning how to ask for directions and interact with people around you. Keep going, because with each situation, your English becomes more real, more practical, and more powerful. Part 9. Getting around the city. The city feels alive in a completely different way than the airport or the hotel. Cars are moving, people are crossing streets, traffic lights are changing, and you are standing on a sidewalk holding your phone, trying to understand where you are. Maybe your map is loading slowly. Maybe the street names look unfamiliar. This is when survival English becomes powerful. You do not need long conversations. You need clear questions, simple vocabulary, and confidence in your tone. When you can ask for directions naturally, you unlock the city. Let us begin with the most important sentence. "Excuse me, how do I get to the museum?" Listen carefully to the rhythm. "Excuse me, how do I get to the museum?" The stress falls on cues in excuse me. In natural American speech, excuse me often sounds like "excuse me." It is quick and smooth. How do I often reduces to how do I or even how do I. How do I get to the museum? The word to reduces to "to." How do I get to the museum? Museum has stress on seum, slow version. "Excuse me, how do I get to the museum?" Natural version. "Excuse me, how do I get to the museum?" When you understand reductions, listening and speaking both become easier. This question works almost everywhere. You can change the final word. How do I get to the subway station? How do I get to Central Park? How do I get to the nearest pharmacy? The structure stays the same, and that makes it powerful. If you want to sound slightly softer, you can add "please" at the end. "Excuse me, how do I get to the train station, please?" Now let us talk about direction vocabulary, because when someone answers you, they may speak quickly. One common phrase is "straight ahead." Straight ahead. The stress falls on straight and head. Straight ahead. In natural speech, it may sound like "straight ahead." If someone says, "Go straight ahead for 2 blocks," they mean continue forward without turning. Another important phrase is "turn left" or "turn right." Turn has a strong R sound in American English. Turn left. Left is short and clear. If someone says, "turn left at the light," they mean at the traffic light. Notice how at the often reduces to ata. Turn left, ata, light. That linking is very common. If you recognize it, you will understand more easily. Across from is another useful phrase, across from the bank. Across has stress on cross, across. From is softer. If someone says, the cafe is across from the library, it means the cafe is on the opposite side of the street. In fast speech, across from may sound like across from the library. Next to is another phrase you will hear often. The bookstore is next to the restaurant. Next to often reduces to nexta, nexta the restaurant. When you practice these small reductions, your ear becomes more flexible and you feel less surprised when native speakers talk quickly. Prepositions are very important in directions. In, on, at, across from, next to, between, behind, in front of. These words show relationships in space. For example, the hotel is on Main Street. On means along the street. The bank is next to the grocery store. Next to means beside. The museum is between the park and the river. Between shows position in the middle. When you use these prepositions naturally, your directions become clear. Let us practice a short dialogue slowly first. You say, "Excuse me, how do I get to the subway station?" The person answers, "Go straight ahead for 2 blocks, then turn left at the light. It's next to the pharmacy." Now let us say it more naturally. "Excuse me, how do I get to the subway station?" Go straight ahead for 2 blocks, then turn left at a light. It's next to the pharmacy. Notice how the rhythm becomes smoother and more connected. Sometimes you may not understand the answer. That is okay. You can say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "Sorry, is it far from here?" Far has a strong R sound in American English. Far. If the person says, "It's about 5 minutes away," that means it is close. If they say, "It's about a 20-minute walk," then you know it is farther. You can also confirm directions by repeating them. "So I go straight, then turn right." This shows that you are listening carefully. It also gives the other person a chance to correct you if something is wrong. That small habit builds confidence. Let us do one more practice. Imagine you are looking for a coffee shop. You ask, "Excuse me, how do I get to the nearest coffee shop?" The person says, "Walk straight ahead and turn right at the corner. It's across from the bookstore." You reply, "Thank you so much." That is a complete, successful interaction. Exploring a city becomes much more enjoyable when you can communicate clearly. Even if your grammar is simple, when your tone is polite and your prepositions are correct, people understand you easily. You are not just surviving, you are connecting. In the final part, we will put everything together into one full travel journey, from airport to hotel to city exploration, so you can feel completely ready for real-world travel. Stay with me because the next step is where all your practice becomes confident, natural English. Part 10. Travel like a confident speaker. Take a slow breath with me. This is the moment where everything connects. You are no longer just learning phrases, you are traveling. In this final part, we are going to walk through the entire journey together, step by step, using real English, natural rhythm, and calm confidence. By the end, I want you to feel something very simple and very powerful. I can do this. Let us begin at the airport entrance. You walk inside with your suitcase. You look around and take a steady breath. You walk to the check-in counter and say, "Hi, I have a reservation under Con." The agent smiles and says, "Good morning. May I see your passport?" You respond, "Sure, here you go." Notice how your tone is calm and steady. Your voice falls at the end of statements. Here you go. That falling intonation shows confidence. The agent asks, "Do you have any bags to check?" You say, "Yes, I have one suitcase." "Did you pack your bags yourself?" "Yes, I did." "Would you like a window or aisle seat?" "A window seat, please." Notice the polite word "please" at the end. That one word changes your tone completely. You are not demanding, you are respectful. Now you move to security. An officer says, "Please remove your shoes." You hear the stress on remove and shoes, so you understand quickly. You take off your shoes calmly. They say, "Take out your laptop." You do it. If you do not understand, you say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Your voice rises gently at the end because it is a question. Could you repeat that? That rising tone is natural and polite. You reach the gate. An announcement says, "We're now boarding Group 3. You hear the stressed words boarding and 3, so you stand up. You board the plane and say to the flight attendant, "Could I have some water, please?" Notice the rhythm. Could I have some water? Water sounds like wade in American English. Soft T, smooth rhythm. Now we arrive. Immigration officer asks, "What is the purpose of your visit?" You answer clearly, "I'm here for vacation." "How long will you stay?" "I'll stay for 1 week." "Where will you be staying?" "I'll be staying at the Hilton Hotel." Short sentences, clear answers, calm tone. You move through customs. "Do you have anything to declare?" "No, I don't." That is it. Outside the airport, you approach a taxi. "Hi, I need to go to this address." The driver nods. "How much will it cost?" During the ride, you ask, "Is this the fastest way?" When you arrive, you say, "Please drop me here." "Thank you." Again, simple English, strong communication. At the hotel front desk, you say, "Hi, I have a reservation under Patel. Could I see your ID?" "Sure, here you go." "Is breakfast included? What time is checkout?" Later, from your room, you call reception. "Hi, this is room 304. The air conditioner isn't working. Could someone check it, please? Thank you so much." That is real-world English. That is confident travel English. Now let us pause and talk about pronunciation coaching, because this is what makes your English sound natural, even if it is simple. In American English, stress carries meaning. In the sentence, "I have a reservation," the stress is on va in reservation, réservation. When you stress the correct syllable, your speech becomes easier to understand. Rhythm also matters. English has a pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables. We are now bored in Group 3. The stressed words stand out like beats in music. Intonation is also powerful. Statements usually fall at the end. "I'm staying for 5 days." Questions usually rise. "What time is checkout?" That rise signals a question. Politeness tone is softer and slightly warmer. Adding could, may, please, and thank you makes your English feel friendly. Now let us correct 5 common mistakes that many learners make during travel. First, forgetting articles. Instead of saying, "I have reservation," say, "I have a reservation." That small word a is important. Second, wrong verb tense. Instead of "I stay here for 1 week," say, "I will stay here for 1 week," or "I'm staying for 1 week." Choose the correct tense for the situation. Third, speaking too fast. When you are nervous, you may rush. Slow down. Clear speech is better than fast speech. Fourth, direct translation from your first language. Sometimes word order may change. In English we say, "Could you help me?" not "help me you could," Practice natural sentence order. Fifth, not using polite forms. Saying, "give me water" sounds strong and not friendly. Saying, "could I have some water, please" sounds respectful. Now I want you to imagine the entire journey again, but this time you feel steady. You are not perfect, but you are clear. You are not fluent like a news reporter, but you are understandable and confident. You move from airport to taxi to hotel with calm energy. You ask questions when you need help. You listen for stress words. You use polite forms, and you communicate successfully. Travel English is not about advanced vocabulary. It is about practical communication. You do not need perfect English. You need clear English. You need brave English. When you speak with clarity, rhythm, and respect, people understand you. And when you realize that you can handle real situations in English, something changes inside you. You stop saying, "I'm afraid." You start saying, "I can do this." You made it. From the airport entrance to your hotel room, you just practiced real English for real life. That is powerful. Remember, confidence does not come from perfect grammar. It comes from clear speech, calm tone, and brave communication. If this lesson helped you, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. You are closer than you think. I am Adam, and I will see you in the next lesson.